Hello, my friends. John LaRuffa here with another Straight Up Solo. And in this episode, we're going to take a look at Men-Nefer. I'm going to show you how this game plays from a solo standpoint, and then I'm going to let you know what I think. All right, let's get started. Okay, folks, and as usual, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. If you have, I really do appreciate that support. So this game has a ton of Euro goodness going on. There's no doubt about it. This is now starting into the third era, so I'm 2/3 of the way through the game, and you see all these pieces on the board because there's all sorts of stuff you can do. You have your own personal board. The bot has their own personal board. They use these 9 tiles, which are basically cards. They could have been cards just as easily. To do their turn, you take your turn as you do during the normal game. Everything you do is just like you would do it for multiplayer. So what are the things that you're doing in this game? Well, you're trying to score points by doing all sorts of different actions, okay? You can get points and benefits by putting mummies in the necropolis, by building Sphinx, by making craft offerings to the temple, by going up on the orb obelisk. This part right here is basically the action center. So this isn't a place to score. It's where you're taking your actions. You also can get stuff by doing the papyrus and also trying to get these 2 tracks to come together and actually pass each other. And so there's a lot of ways to score points there. And then finally, tons of points to be scored by getting contracts, which you don't actually spend anything. It's almost, instead of contracts, it almost looks like it's an achievement. But they call it a contract. And basically what happens when you collect these things, if you have, for instance, at any point at least 14, like this one, this is a level 3 contract. If you have 14 spaces, you've moved up on the feather track, you can flip this over, and at the end of the round, at the end of the era, you'll score those points. Now, each of the actions that you do has all sorts of little small actions with it. And that's the thing with this game. There are a ton of little minor things. So the actual gameplay itself is not that complicated. There's just a lot of little micro actions you're doing here and there to get this, get that, this, that, the other thing. So the way the game works is you can take, at the beginning of the game, you skip this phase. This is a flood phase, which is kind of a reset / income phase. And then you go into the planting phase, which is the meat and potatoes of this game, where you're taking the actions. And you're going to take 9 actions every single planting phase for a total of 27 actions per game. The actions are as follows. You can move your helpers, your apprentices, which are these little tokens over here, and you can move them into any of these sun spaces over there. And when you do that, if there is somebody there, you might have to pay some food, depending on how many somebodies there are. That could be you, that could be the bot, that could be the neutral player, as you see out here. And you can also, it doesn't matter how many people you have there, you can play there no matter what, as long as you pay the food. So anyway, you go there, and when you do that, you actually will activate the tile and do whatever the tile says on your board. It has nothing to do with where you put it over here. It's just what you do in the tile. But you're putting it over there because eventually you're going to specialize in a track, moving it over here, paying food just like you would if there are other people in that spot. And that's when you move your scarab down to the next level and take either the actions or actions on the level you move to, or anything behind it when you move it over. And that's another set of actions you can take, and you can take those throughout the game, and you get to do that up to 3 times around, because whoever you put into this spot here, you eventually will move them over there, okay? If you can't pay for the food on either of those maneuvers, you still move them. You don't take any actions, but you get 3 food, okay? And then the final thing you can do on your turn is acquire new action tiles. And to do that, you basically have to have an empty space over here from one of your action tiles that you previously took. You're going to either gain food, get it for nothing, or spend food to take the tile. If the tile has a matching icon that matches your track over here, you'll move up on the track, scoring a point, or maybe even advancing a scarab to the next spot. And then you get to take the action associated with the right side of the column over there. So those are the 3 main types of actions. Now, all the different actions, there's a lot of them in this game, and they all revolve around building stuff, placing stuff, preparing stuff, moving stuff, offering stuff, moving stuff, achieving stuff, or taking stuff. And I know that sounds weird, But I'm going to demonstrate a variety of these things just by playing a couple of turns so you can see it. But this isn't going to be a teaching video where I'm going to show you each thing. The best part about this is that once you've read the rules once, they give you a great player aid for these icons. So when you move to a space, you're going to see one of these icons on the space. You do what it says, and this will give you 90% of what you need to know to do what it says, which is great. And that helps because I've only read the rules once, but just by doing that and using this, I was able to play the game. I have referred a little bit to the rules here and there, but it's even though there's a broad amount of stuff, that player aid is really, really key. If they hadn't give you that, if they had done a lousy job there, that would have really been a bummer. That thing's great. It really gets you through just about everything you need to do. Okay, so it is my turn first because I am losing to the bot, and I'm going to be able to take, really at the beginning, only one type of action because my apprentices are all here and all of my tiles are there and I have nobody on the board. So I'm going to try to choose, well, which one do I want to take? Do I want to take this action, or this action? And what I will do to begin, I think, is I'm going to do this action over here. So I'm going to put this someplace in one of the sun spots. And because I have a bunch of food, I could really pay for whatever I want. Because I know that I want to try to get moving up on the orb track and try to get this and other things, I need to get that first. So maybe what I will do is I'll place this here because eventually I'll be able to move my boats and get some more contracts, which I really want to do. So I place that there, and what this lets me do here, this tile says gain a craft and get a move a favor token over here. Now, there's a lot of specific names on all these things, and I don't remember them. And you don't need to. It's not the end of the world. You can mash things up to know what you're doing. But I'm moving that, and then I'm going to get a craft. Now, which craft do I want? Well, I would like to get one, perhaps, that is different than everything I've already gotten. I've got the diamond. I've got that kind of jar, that kind of jar. But there's nothing up there that's different, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to take it. Maybe it does if you really know, but I'm going to take this one here. This is going to give me more food and let me do some Sphinx stuff too. Or I could spend the one food and get this, which I think I want to do because this is going to help me do more crafting, etc. and such, or not crafting, but get more stuff. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take that. It costs one food, okay? And then I have to slide these over like any good Euro and add another craft to the board. Okay, so that was the first thing because that said take a craft. Then I got that. Okay, now I take this because I've spent it and I put it face down in the discard pile over there. My turn is complete. Let's see what he's going to do. He can't take this action yet because he doesn't have any spaces. So whenever you can't take an action for him yet, you're just going to put that right in the bottom of the draw deck. Okay, he can do this. So he's going to place this one right here. He's going to place it with me because what he's trying to do is he's trying to pressure me so that he can try to move there first and basically cost me to spend food. He never spends food. He never spends this other resource, Heka, I guess, which is like some loose magic, what have you thing. So he's going there and he will take the actions on this tile, okay? So what this says is he's going to try to move a Sphinx or craft a Sphinx, but he's already crafted one. So he's going to skip that and he's going to place it. Now, where's he going to place it? Sometimes he rolls a die and it shows you, in this case, he's going to place it on the 6th space. So he's going to pick this up. He's going to put it over here. And he's going to put it on here in era 3 because we're in era 3. He gets one craft and he will move his guy 3 spots. 1, 2, 3. He does activate that, which moves 2 of his boats. He is going to try to move his boats into these ports, if at all possible. So he's going to move 1 over there. And then he's going to move, 1 over there because he wants to try to move into those ports. And then, let's see. So he moved that. He moved those up. What else? He needs to take a craft. So he's going to take a craft, one that he doesn't have. And if he doesn't have one out there that he doesn't have, you take one from mine and you put it on the highest spot he can and the cheapest one. So largely, the things that he's going to do are pretty logical. he's going to try to do the cheapest thing, because even though he doesn't spend food or Heka, he wants to deprive me from the cheapest thing. And then if it doesn't benefit him, he's going to hate draft, basically, okay? So that's how that works. All right, so he's taken his action to move that, or to place that Sphinx. Now he's going to always take the top one of these if he can. And in this case, the top one is to move a priest one space, and he's going to move the priest over here that's the furthest up that he can afford, stand it back up, and then offer a craft. And I'm going to assume he's going to offer, although I can look it up real quick, the craft that's the top. Okay, highest and left. So he's going to make that offering here. And so first things first, like I said, we're going to discard this so I just don't forget. And then he's going to put this offering, and he's going to roll the die again to figure out which of these he's going to offer it to. It looks like the 6th spot again. So that's right here. He gets no benefit from, oh no, he does. Sorry, he got the 3. 1, 2, 3. I thought it was one of these spaces. What's weird, and not weird, I guess, it just is what it is. Anytime he would normally get fish or those Heka bonuses, he doesn't get them. He doesn't pay him, he doesn't get them. So sometimes he moves those spots, and you're like, well, does he get compensation? No, he does not. So I guess it just all kind of washes out. Then, since this is in the 2nd spot, he's going to do this action and this action. Well, the fish we just talked about, he doesn't get anything there, so that doesn't matter. So then he's going to advance a Sphinx, meaning he's going to carve a Sphinx right there. He flips this over, his turn is done. So you'll notice there's a lot of little things you've got to pay attention to. It's easy to lose track of all the little, this action, this action, this action, this action. So you've got to really be paying attention. But none of the actions are particularly complicated. They're usually, moving up on something, gaining something, scoring something, etc. All right. So now let's see what I'd like to do. Joel, just for demonstration, I'm going to move this over here, unless I can get it. Is there a bird? There is a bird available. I'm going to take this one before he can take it from me. So I'm going to take this action. I'm going to replenish this. It costs me 1 fish. I just get the tile, and I put it there, and I'm not going to do anything with it. And then I get to take either an action on the boat, 2 moves, but no offering, just 2 moves with my priest, or build a pyramid action. And I think I'm actually going to want to build a pyramid action. I want to move this up 1 space because I'm trying to get some of these end round bonuses to go here. And the more I contribute to these, the more it happens. And there are 2 sections here. There's this section, which have to do with these. And the way that works is it takes this times the number of those, and you get that points at the end of the round. Whereas this one is just about gaining resources, and will score you points at the end, depending on how much, at the end of the round, for how much you've contributed. Okay, so all that talk, and I'm almost going to lose what I did. So I took this. Now, that was because of this action right here. I'm going to move this down, and replace it. Now, what's he going to do? He is going to try to move over. Darn. So he beat me to the punch. He's going to move over, which means this next action is going to be expensive for me. I have to pay 3 food to go to that spot, unfortunately. So I risked it, trying to get this before him. Oh, and by the way, when I got that, I forgot, when I got the bird, I was supposed to move this over 1 space and score a point. All right, now he moves over, so he doesn't pay anything, but he does move this spot here. He's going to move his boats twice. So in this case, he only has 1 boat left that's not in a city. So he's going to go 1, 2, and then he's going to activate 2 of his furthest to the right boats. So when he does that, he activates this. It pushes this boat over here. He'll get 1 papyrus, and he'll automatically gain that contract right there. So the 1 papyrus, he's going to take the one that would fulfill his thing, which he doesn't have any matching icons yet, neither do I. He takes the cheapest one. And the way this works is these are going to give you feather points at the end of the round. And if you match these little, the little pictures, you get extra points. Okay, so there's nothing to match. He just takes the cheapest one. And there we go. Now, he then got the contract, and then he's going to activate another boat. Well, he has another boat in the city over here. So he is going to move up on the stone track right here, which is going to cause him to build the final piece of the pyramid. And it's going to give him this feather and that feather. So he gets 2 feather points. He's going to move over here. They're not really points, but they're so now he's not going to lose any points at the end of the round. There's a scoring where you want to kind of get those things together and even pass each other. And then he's going to take this one. Oh, he's going to take the 3, sorry, the highest. Now, I haven't looked this up. I think he keeps taking contracts even if he gets them all. Automatically turns them over. Yada, yada. I'm going to assume that he's going to get them. He just, keeps going. So we'll just put this over here. He's gotten a lot of contracts this game. He may put it over. Maybe he discards the other one, but I'm not worried about that right now. I'll have to look that up later. Okay, so let's see. He moved forward. He activated both his boats, and that's it. Oh, and then this boat, you can never have a boat in the same spot, so it's actually going to come back and go back to that spot behind. The only time you can have a boat in the same spot is up here, I believe, and down in here. I think that's the only way that works. Okay, so then he's taken that action. You've seen the 3 types of actions, all right? You've seen the placement. You've seen the get a new one of these. And you've seen the intricacies of moving that up, doing that other things. There's just a lot of stuff, okay? What you can say about this game is it's all sorts of micro actions where you get stuff, you score stuff, you move things around. There's a lot of board placement, etc. There's a ton of that stuff going on in this game. Now, after the round's over, you're going to score for a variety of ways. You're going to score based on the intersections of the mummies you put in these with regards to these tiles that are laid down. You're going to score for where you are on this track. You're going to score for where you are over here. You're going to score depending, you'll gain or lose points depending if these 2 icons have crossed. And then you score for all of your different contracts as well. And then you get other income on the food and the hecka based on your place in your boats for the food and your hecka for this. But that's actually during the, well, actually, no, I'm sorry. Don't worry about the food. That's how you do that in the income phase, which I didn't really talk about too much. But food gets you that, and where you are in this track over here will give you some hecka. So there's lots of stuff going on. And as you can tell, it is all very much a Euro-style game. So let me tell you what I think about it. So I think this guy, Mr. Milan, has knocked it out of the park again. Just like Sabika, where it was a sleeper hit for me, this game is just as good, if not a little bit more simple in some ways without a rondelle, but just as good, just as fulfilling if you like these types of games, because there's nothing in particular here that is brand spanking new. It's all a combination of different mechanisms you've seen in different places before from a Euro standpoint. But I just love this type of game. I love little micro actions where I get to advance here, advance there, do this, do that. But it doesn't seem like it's just all the same kind of, I go up on this track, I go up on this track. It's all area majority or leader majority. It isn't that. And I do appreciate that because I'm tired of just climbing tracks. Here, there isn't a whoever's first gets this, whoever's second gets this. You can specialize in different things. And I think specializing is important because you will score more points as you get further down those specialization tracks. Your ability to do more powerful micro actions get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you can score bigger points. And it's just a very, very satisfying Euro game. I really enjoy it. I think that the game itself looks beautiful. It looks fun. There's lots of pieces. There's really very little luck. The luck comes in from the way that those action tiles come up. If they match the icons you need, they could be more easy for you. But for the most part, that's it. And I don't feel punished by the whole food thing. I think that you can play your games without having to go to a spot to skip a complete turn to get food. It's definitely possible to do that. But sometimes, maybe if you really need to, you might decide to do that in order to specialize on something or move for where you really need to be. And it might cost you more food, and maybe it's worth skipping a turn, so to speak, for that. But I don't feel like this game is one where you're like, oh my gosh, it's so tight, I can't do anything. at the same time, I don't feel like it's one of those games that's so loose and flabby where it's like I've got tons of resources, I can spend them anywhere. It's just an embarrassment of wealth. It's not like that. It is really nicely balanced. And I do find each of those different areas on the board has something interesting and fun to do. I really like this game. I really like it. It looks good. It's fun. It's very easy to play solo. The solo is a snap. It really is. Thankfully, all of the decisions are just logical things, right? They're gonna maximize the actions, and the solo rules are really only, I think, 3 pages long. So there's nothing there that's really all that much, but it works real well, and I'm so glad there is a solo mode. It's also very nice that the board that I'm playing on is a solo only board, like the other side is the 2, 3, and 4. So it sets up and it plays really logically from a solo standpoint right out of the box without having to do all sorts of weird stuff. There's small changes to the 2-player setup, but it's not much. So they really had, it's clear he had solo in mind when he built this game. Just a ton of fun. I can't recommend this one enough. It is definitely a joy, and I'm extremely excited to continue to play it. And so very happy to make this video. Very excited to have this in my collection. And I'm so glad it was just a few weeks ago. I'd never even heard of this game. And all of a sudden I saw it popped up. It looked good. And then it was like, oh, these rules look cool. It looks interesting. And then I find out it's by the same designer as Sabika. And then all of a sudden through the roof, my interest goes up because I love that game so much. So anyway, can't recommend it enough if you like these types of microtransaction games, Euro games, etc. I don't know if there's a lot of AP, so to speak, that would get you going in here because you can try a bunch of stuff. So I wouldn't say it's majorly AP prone. It is a longer game. It's probably going to take you 90 solid minutes to play, maybe a little bit longer from a solo standpoint, but I just really don't have much to say about it that's bad. I really don't. I think it's just tons of fun. So thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope this video was helpful to you. Obviously, I gave it a glowing review. But maybe some people out there will think differently, just not me. So thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it. Whatever you do in the future, I really hope you have a fantastic time doing it. Take it easy, everybody.